Welcome everyone for the Campus Insider series. I am Sanika Mate, your friend, your guide, and your mentor, welcoming everyone to you for the last episode of this season, the Campus Insider. And we have IIM Indore. So what we would be doing is we would be knowing everything about IPM and IIM Indore. Okay. We have Veena Krishna, who is a final year student, and we have Parth Agarwal, who is the second year student with us from IIM Indore, and they would be answering all the questions we have related to the program. Okay. And before we start with our session, let's give a round of applause. And Zina, it will be really nice if you can introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you very much, Sanika, and thanks everyone for joining. Hi, I am Zena, and I am a final year participant at IIM Indore, which is basically fifth year of IPM and second year of MBA. And I come from a commerce background. I did my 11th and 12th in commerce with math, and I did give a couple of entrance exams, but IPM worked out, and it had to be the best decision ever, and it has been a great journey so far. Looking forward to all of your questions. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Yes, Pars, can we have a round of introduction from you? Can you please tell me something about yourself?
Sure, ma'am. So I'm Parth Agarwal. I'm 18 years old. I was born and brought up in Mumbai. I had a commerce background in my 11th and 12th from Narsi Monji. And after that, I came to IIM Indore, currently a second year student here. And my hobbies include sports and fitness. And I'm looking forward to all the questions as well.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So before we start with the session, let me give you a quick information on IPM. I am sure IPM के बारे में थोड़ा information होना चाहिए. Okay. So what is IPM? If a lot of you who have joined right now, parents who doesn't know what is IPM, uh, who is right now joining because your child have the opportunity of joining IIM after 12th. IPM is a program with IIM Indore, which is called the Integrated Program in Management. It's a course structure of 3-year undergraduate, which is BA plus BBA. So you get 3 years of BA, and without any giving any entrance exam, you are able to move to the coveted flagship program what they have, which is MBA. So 5 years you study at a stretch, and you pass out with a placement from IIM Indore and a degree, which is MBA. Okay, this program was pioneered by IIM Indore. So the first, you know, institute who started with this particular program was the IIM Indore, which was established way back in 1996. So the legacy is pretty there, pretty much there. Okay. This particular program now currently as IPM is offered by 5 different IIMs, including quickly, including what? Chat box. I want to know which 5 IIMs are offering IPM. Jaldi, jaldi. Rohtak, very good. Rohtak, yes, yes, I know Rohtak. Kozhikode, no, no. Okay, Rushil have just mentioned everything in one go. Indore, Rohtak, Ranchi, Jammu, and Bodh Gaya, not Kozhikode. Okay, so these are the 5 IIMs which are offering IPM. Now let's look at their entrance exam, some details which will help you. IPM at IIM Indore, there is an entrance test which is required as we were talking about IPMAT Indore. This is the entrance test which you will have to give to get into the IIM Indore IPM program. Now, when is IPMAT Indore happening in 2024? Who knows the date? Absolutely, Tanuj. It is happening on the 23rd of May. The eligibility. So there is only one eligibility which is basically being followed here, that you need to have you need to be 20 years as on 31st July 2023. So now this eligibility will change, and this will change. The eligibility changes. Okay. So as of last year, there was only one eligibility, that if you are from a general category, 20 years age was required, and for others it was 25 years. Around 49% of the batch size is female. The average salary which you take with IIM Indore post your MBA, as in once you complete your final year, is around 30.21 lakhs. Seat intake till last year was 156 seats. And The selection process would mean that first they will check the eligibility, so it will be screening for your application. Then you give the entrance test. Then there is a VAT, and then there is a personal interview round. Okay. Quickly moving to the most discussed entrance test among students, which is the IPMAT Indore. Okay. So IPMAT Indore as a test would have three sections. This is what the section, questions, marking scheme, and total marks would, and the duration would be. The highlight here is there is a sectional time limit and there is a sectional cutoff, which means if you are able to crack QA short answers and QA MCQ, but if you're not able to crack VA, you will not be selected. Even if you're not able to crack VA for 1 mark, you will not be selected. Okay, so all the three section cutoff need to be cleared, and then the students get a personal interview call. Okay, this is exactly the information for the IPMAT Indore. Now let's start with our questions. Okay, starting with the senior here, Veena. The first question is for you. Okay, how was your journey, as in when you joined the, the first year for IPM Indore? Okay, what exactly was your journey like? As in, can you tell me more about, apart from your IPM at IIM Indore, what exactly were your options, and how was your journey for your, till you cleared the IPM?
So, if you're asking for alternatives, I basically went for everything on my plate that I could qualify for apart from JE because I was a commerce student. So, I tried my hands at everything and very grateful that this worked out. Now, if you're asking about the preparation part before, then I'd say that because I was already very well versed with my board exams, so I didn't have that much difficulty. I didn't give myself a big break between starting to preparing for IPMAT and after my boards ended so that I could continue the momentum. And maths wasn't that difficult, quantitative ability, because I already had practiced it for about a year. Now, verbal is something that I had to practice day on day because there's only so much of verbal practice that I can do, but math is something that's more I'd say conceptual than verbal, and verbal is a logical thing, so it needs a more regular touch to it. So that's my personal experience because based on my capabilities, that I had something else already prepared. So I'd say that a regular practice, you can only practice so many. I'd say you can only learn so many formulae, but you can not have much practice. So just keep on practicing, and that give you a taste of what you're getting to for. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Veena. Same question for you, Parth. What exactly was your journey? Options. What were your options?
Yes. So from a preparation point of view, I started in like I think November of the previous year. And I same thing. I used to practice a lot. Like I completed, I think most of the books that IMS provided, and I thought that was sufficient. I didn't need to do anything else. And from my options, I had NMIMS Mumbai and I'm Rohtak and I'm Indore. These were the three exams that I gave, and I had these options, and I chose I'm Indore. Obviously.
Okay, okay. So, Zina, when the first year, okay, how exactly the first year is different? We are talking here about, about the admission process. So once you enter, I'm sure you have your own experience when it comes to the interview, and everybody who would be selected would go through their own experiences, okay? But once you are selected, how exactly was your experience when it comes to the first year?
In three words: exciting, challenging, and thrilling. Like really, because so just after 12th grade, you come outside your comfort zone, and there's a lot of new things to experience in life. Then, apart from just being on a residential campus with other students coming pan India, that gives you a great experience to how different people approach different solutions in and outside the classroom, I'd say. And apart from that, different challenges in real life, like till 12th you are in the share of your parents, they're doing everything for you, understand how it goes. But then when you actually come in life and you do it, that is great personality development. Like it has changed me. Like when I look back 5 years from now, I'm like, Like it has changed me in a very, very different manner, and that's great progress. And talking about curriculum, that's very challenging as well. There's a robust academic structure. You go through everything from calculus to psychology to information technology and language systems. So it builds you holistically as a person, and it gave me a flavor of everything, so I can know that what I want to pursue further in future and what doesn't really suit my interests. So I'd say like it's a good environment to grow outside your comfort zone.
Mm. What was your experience? I mean, for you, the first year part is very fresh. Second year now, okay? How
Hmm.
exactly it's been your journey?
So I think the first term is a roller coaster usually. So we follow a trimester system. We have 3 terms each year. So I think the first term itself is a roller coaster because you're trying to adapt to the new environment, to a hostel, living away from your family, and keeping up with the academics that we have and the frequent tests and everything. But I think after the first term, everyone figures their way out. They know what's working for them, how to allocate their time to different things. And I think from the second term onwards, everyone manages well. They figure out what they have to do, when they have to do it. And I think it's like a relatively smooth ride from the second term.
Okay. So the first term is normally just because you're kind of getting used to the whole thing, which is a little, shaky. Okay. Now, coming to, when it comes to the admission is concerned, what it is like to be a student at IIM Indore. Okay, part this question would be for you. I think you would be able to give us a very fresh perspective. Okay, how is it or what it is to be a student at IIM Indore? What exactly has changed?
So it's a lot that change you since we learn like so many like we have a lot of diverse subjects from ranging from quants, economics, languages, technology, and various other like social sciences courses. So I think it really helps develop your personality holistically. And since you're living away from your own house, you become more independent. You learn how to do your own things. You make way more many friends since you have to live in the same hostel as everyone, and it helps you. Time is a really important thing here. Like there are a lot of things to do, and you have really little time. So I think the best thing that I've learned here is time management and how to make the best use of my time here.
Great. Veena, the same question to you. How, how is it to be, because you're in the final year now, you will be just kind of stepping in next year, you'll be out and I'm sure working, okay, with a very good placement. How is it? What exactly the experience? 5 years with IIM Indore.
It's very transformational now that I look back, and from the person that I've become, both academically and outside academics as well. It's challenging at times, but I think it's these challenges that build you as a person. It's challenging inside the classroom, from anything related to in-class assignment or a group assignment. You're randomly assigned and to a couple of people, and you need to understand how to work with them. You've never met them. You don't know where they come from. And outside the classroom, as Pat clearly mentioned, you need to have friends living under the same roof. So it's very transformational, and I'd say that definitely the best place to be right after your 12th. And
Great.
if I have to compare, like saying that I'm a final year student now, so since first term itself in IPM, we have like good number of credits, 5 classes a day. You are going every day, coming out, and everything. And I think it really builds you for the last 2 years. That is the MBA part. When you compare yourself to your non-IPM peers, you can sort of see the difference between, okay, now it's a lot of classes. Oh, we've done it for 3 years now. It's okay. So that's a great thing to feel.
So with the 3 years of IPM, by the time you reach your MBA, you are like a pro and you're just kind of adjusted with the whole classes and the number of classes you go through. Okay. So it's like the IPM Indore prepares you with the IPM for the first 3 years. Great, great. What exactly do you study in the first 3 years? As students are very keen on understanding the curriculum. Okay. So, Zina, if you can give us a little bit highlights on the first, I think Parth would be able to answer it better with the first 2 years. And then the third, fourth, and fifth year, Zina, you would be able to cover. Okay. So, Parth. The curriculum, what exactly do you study in the first year? How exactly it is different?
So the what's different here is you'll get every subject across various fields, which you probably won't get at other colleges. So there's a lot of emphasis on quants, which is maths and statistics. Then we have economic subjects, macro, micro, and various others. We have language courses. We also learn a foreign language in our second year. We have various social sciences courses ranging from philosophy, sociology, psychology, and more. And we have some technology related courses like databases, data structures. And in the first year, we also have this elective between dance, drama, and singing. Yeah, dance, drama, music. And your second year elective is between for a foreign language, which is between German, French, and Spanish. And third year onwards, I think it's mostly electives, and I think Zina could touch on that better.
Zina, for the next 3 years, what happens? What do you study?
Continuing from path, third year is mostly elective. You get a lot of options to choose from. So this is where you take forward your flavor of second year and your experience and your biases, and you choose like if you want to choose a finance subject or statistics. And jumping on to first year of MBA, which is fourth year IPM, that is those are core courses. That's more like first 2 years of IPM cumulated, where you have certain core courses and you go through, let's say, marketing management 1, 2, and 3, and you have organizational behavior 1, 2, and so on. Similarly with finance and other streams. And then in the last term, so since it's a trimester, in the last term of first year of MBA, fourth year of IPM again, that's when you start taking your electives. So you choose like half of the subjects electives and the others are core. And the final year, fifth year, is completely elective based. This is where you can sort of decide on your specialization, decide what subjects you can have different bundles, have a bundle of finance, a bundle of marketing, and that goes on for the entire final year. And yeah, you can basically choose your own timetable, create it yourself so that you know how to distribute your time and manage it better.
Great. With this, Ahad, I want to get your answer when you're talking about specialization. Okay. Uh, Coming to, when you're looking at the specialization here, uh, in terms of what you study, with this, is there a very hectic life in the first 2 years, part starting with you? I mean, is it difficult to cope up? ऐसा लगता है फर्स्ट 2 years में कि ये क्या हो रहा है मेरे साथ
So it's
असाइनमेंट
it's definitely hectic. You'll always be piled up with deadlines, quizzes, in class assignments. Quiz हो गए तो midterm आ गए, midterm हो गए तो quiz 2, then end term. So you'll always be packed, but I think as time goes on, you figure out how to make that your new normal, and you just adjust with that and work with it. So it's hectic,
Okay,
but you figure your way out.
you figure your way out. Okay, what exactly the first class starts at? I know Parth have already mentioned this in the last meeting, and it was a big laugh riot when it happened. But Parth, would you be nice enough to actually give us the first, because Madhav is asking, ma'am, what are the class timings in IIM like in morning and what time the class starts?
So usually you have 4 classes a day, 75 minutes each. First class starts at 10:30 usually, or else you might have 9 a.m. classes. But usually 10:30, two classes, 75 minutes each, 15-minute gaps between each class. Then at 1:15 you'll have a lunch break for 1 hour 15 minutes, and then again two classes of 75 minutes. And so you get free by 5:15.
Okay. Zina, is this the same thing for the later? No, oh, please let us know.
So it's spread throughout the day. Same in the morning though. The very first class happens at 9, but the very last class slot is 10:15 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. So you get out of your classrooms at 11:30 in the night. That's the last that I have gotten to.
Okay. Shaurya, I hope with this particular question you get your answer. Where you're asking, what is the daily schedule for an IPM course? They have just highlighted not only for the IPM, but for the whole 5 years you would be spending in IIM Indore. Okay. Kashmir is saying for sure getting next year. I will be happy to introduce you next year, Kashmir, if you're going through or if you're getting into IIM Indore. Uh, now, when it comes to the schedule, when it comes to the whole process, wanted to understand how are examinations held? Is it like trimester is what Parth mentioned, Hina? So is it trimester where you get your exams or which are held?
So the exams are pretty much spread out throughout the entire term, and one term being for about 3 months roughly. So all the courses happening for those 3 months, the exams for those would be wrapped up in those 3 months itself, and it would be very spread out. So there would be something like quizzes. Now these could be announced like scheduled quizzes, or these could be surprise quizzes. It really depends on the professor and the entire course outline sent. And then there's a block for midterms, and then there are other quizzes, and then you have your end terms. So that is what an ideal schedule look like. But this is more like the first years of IPM. But for the next 2 years during your MBA, your midterm and end term, it could happen any. So it's not like it would happen right at the end of your term. It would just happen whenever the course ends. So if the term is, let's say, from Jan, Feb, March, so in IPM you might have all your end terms at the end of March. But in let's say a course ends on Jan 31st, you might have your end term on Jan 31st itself if you're in the final year, final 2 years. So it's pretty much spread out term by term.
Term by term. Okay. This is about the exam part. Now, Parth, when I was talking to you, I was asking you about the subjects. You mentioned about singing, dancing, something very creative. What kind of extracurricular activities are offered in IIM Indore?
So yeah, there are various activities. We have clubs, committees, and special interest groups. So clubs and committees are usually positions of responsibilities, like being in the academic committee, the entrepreneurship cell, or the social club, which are positions of responsibilities for which you have to fight elections and win that place. And for your interest, there are 13 special interest groups which like cater to your interest, like, but they could be as vast as finance. There's a finance club, there's a dancing club, there's a consulting club, there's a music club. So all your passions, be it career related or non-career related, most of them are covered through these SIGs. And then we also have a fest, which is an IPM fest. It's called Atharvan Bhumi, and that's a really grand fest. It just happened last month, and there are a lot of positions as well in that. So you get to have a lot of fun in that.
Absolutely. So anybody who's asking about the fest, we just answered that particular question to you. Okay. So there is the fest name is Atharva. Okay. Now coming to a very important aspect, of your Indore, IIM Indore journey is the faculty. Okay. Considering it's an IIM, faculty plays a very crucial role for all the students. Okay. Zina, what has been your experience with the faculty for IIM Indore?
We have great faculty, honestly. They are very helpful in and outside the classroom. So even outside your course curriculum, if you reach out for certain research projects, you want to either assist or you want to take a lead in a research project, they're always like happy to have held in a hand. And there's also this thing known as CIS, which is Course of Independent Study. This is something outside your core subjects that you can take one-on-one with the faculty and do a research paper on. So I think it's a great thing to be at, and you can always get those published and make a name for yourself. Apart from the faculty is really helpful in approaching your individual queries. You can always book a scheduled time, an appointment, and you can reach out to them in their blogs and have a one-on-one understanding. It's great.
Great. Parth has, are they strict? I mean, I understand they're supportive, but do they have like this, this aspect of being strict? I know one of my students was speaking about the experience with NMIMS, that are very strict. What about IIM Indore?
So I think they can be strict and supportive simultaneously. It obviously depends on the professor to professor. Some are strict, some are not. Like if you have a 9 a.m. class, maybe at 9 o'clock the professor will lock the door and you can't come in. come in at 9:01. But that's some profs. Some profs will give you certain leniency. But regardless of them being strict or not, they're always supportive. Like you can always reach out to them for queries inside and outside class. And as Zina mentioned, you can approach them for research projects as well, which looks very good on your resume, and it's a very good learning experience as well.
Great. With this 5 years you guys are in the campus, is there any kind of a dress code you all follow, Zina?
Definitely, there's not a set strict dress code, but it's appreciated and recommended that you are proper at all times. So if you're coming to class, rather than coming in shorts and baggy t-shirt, it's preferred to come in like good t-shirt, nice fit, and a good jeans or pants. So that's really preferred, and I think yeah, that's because people might take it leniently that I'm coming right from a hostel, I just live there, but it's different, right? A hostel residential surrounding and academic surroundings. That's also another thing that I think really builds you here. Understanding that I do live here, but those are two different structures of my living. So, yeah.
Very nice. I have got some good number of questions as you both can see. The number is increasing. Let's pick up those questions. Okay. Vatsal Tanvi is asking, how I am Indore apart from education? Who would like to take it up? Veena, would you like to take this up? How is I am Indore apart from education?
It is great apart and including education. So if you ask me outside academics how it builds you in different humongous manner. So there are fests, as Parth already said, Athar, and being a proud IPMer, I support Athar. And apart from fests, you have different positions of responsibilities. So it shows you how to work with the community. And when you become, let's say, a coordinator or a secretary of that certain club or committee, you take leadership charges, and it makes you understand how to deal with a group if it's working not working, how to delegate work. And apart from that, you've got various things to get involved with, like the sports stadium, you have a huge swimming complex, and you have basketball, everything. So it builds you a lot as a person, just even outside academics.
Okay. Thank you, Veena. But Shan is asking, how is the environment in Indore? The IIM Indore. I'm assuming you're speaking about IIM Indore, Shan. So how is the environment like?
Physical environment is very good. The air quality is very good here. Not something you'll find anywhere else. The campus is located on a hilltop, so it's a very scenic view and everything. You can see the city from certain sites. And uh, atmosphere, I mean, how do I answer? It's a very vague question.
Okay, it's a very vague question. But is it fun to be on the campus? Let's just kind of, I think after
Hmm.
listening to a lot of serious information that you guys wake up early and then there are back-to-back classes, I think they just wanted to know, is it like all work and no play? But yeah, you guys have your fun. The fun happens in the campus and the festival. How do you celebrate festivals at campus? I mean, that's a question when you're talking about campus life. So you guys don't really get, holidays that often. So when there is a festival, how exactly the vibe in the campus is? How do you celebrate that?
So it's pretty happening during festivals. We have a cultural committee which ensures that all the festivals are celebrated in the most grand manner that's possible, and everyone comes together and celebrates the festivals together. So you'll have IPM 1 students all the way to PGP, EPGP, and all the programs, they come together and they celebrate like most almost all the festivals in the most grand manner possible.
Great. Rina, Madhav is asking, are they allowed to leave the campus on weekends?
You have classes on Sundays as well. So if you want to, you can, but I suggest try to attend classes and learn as much as possible. I think that answers. If you have the time, then sure, why not?
So I'm extremely very sorry, Madhav, if you were expecting weekends में बाहर जाने मिलेगा नहीं मिलता है. You would be attending the class. With this, a very important question. Okay, I'm surprised nobody has actually asked me this question as of now. Though it's a residential program, all are on the campus. Is there still any kind of an attendance percentage, Zina, which is followed?
Did you say
Attendance percentage.
right? Right.
Attendance, right?
There's an 80% criteria So you can take leaves up to 20% of the classes assigned, and 80% you have to attend. Below that, your grade point gets it gets into danger.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow. With great power comes great responsibility. Everybody wants to go to IIM Indore. 5 years, it's gonna be fun. Okay, now coming to, I have a lot of questions. If I'm gonna take one by one, I think that's what exactly we should be doing. We should be just taking one by one all the questions and let's just answer them. Okay. Parth, how did they balance board months preparation with IPMAT prep? At the start of our conversation, I said I would not be getting into their prep. The reason being, you all are different. Something which works for them might not work for you. This questions of the IPMAT Indore, cracking the IPMAT Indore, would be best given by your mentors. So my suggestion would be again, speak to a mentor. We are doing a session very soon for the 24 students next month in December. The information will be sent out to all of you. We are doing how to balance your prep with your board exams. So do attend the session. Okay. Will IIM Indore be increasing the seats for IPM students? Uh, Let me take this particular question, Nishkarsh. Uh, IPM, IIM Indore, if they would be increasing the seats, we don't know. Even they would not know, even if they are a student of IIM Indore. We would only know once, IIM Indore rolls out the 20, the information or in terms of eligibility, in terms of what exactly would be the first year or how exactly they're looking forward to take up the next year. Okay, so we all will have to wait. The only thing I can say that as per the instructions, 150 students were supposed to be kind of given admission for the last year batch. However, they ended up taking 156. So we can always hope that if they're getting better students year by year, they would be increasing it. What is the average package of IPM alone? Shubhrajdeep, there is no IPM package alone because once you are completing your 3 years of IPM, you are blended with the MBA students who would be doing their CAT, who would be appearing for CAT and then joining the IIM Indore. So there is nothing as an average package for IPM alone because IPM would only be for the first 3 years and then you move out with an MBA degree. I hope I am right here, Zina.
Definitely perfect.
Okay. Moving to next question. Samriddhi is asking, I'm a student of grade 12. Can we be given the exam after boards because we are in 20 years? So you need to be 20 or less. 20 ke upar nahi chalega. So if you are in 20, that's fine. By next year, they might change the eligibility. So the eligibility which I showed you was for 23 students. Now for 24 students, they would be giving you that you need to be 20 by the 31st of July, or you need to be till 20. Okay, so it's okay. You would be eligible, Samriddhi. Unnati, the next year entrance exam, a student must be at least 20 years. Yes, maximum 20 years. Beyond 20 years, if you are in a general category, then you would not be eligible. But again, this is this year's eligibility. Next year, we will have to see, we will roll out the notification once it is launched. I understand placement is an issue this year. Why would that be, Shubhradi? Zina, is there any information in terms of internship and placement?
Can you be a bit more specific? What related to
Sure.
split?
So what exactly Shubhradeep is asking is that I understand placement is an issue this year. Is there anything what you have heard in terms of an issue for a placement or internship with IIM Indore?
Placements are going completely fine. So if you, I mean, that's sort of an in the air question. I don't know how to take that, like the issue. But
Yeah,
you ask me like what internships and placements. So it's basically in three spots. First is in IPM, you have a social internship, and in first year of your MBA, you have a summer internship, and after that, it's final placements that are happening right now for the final year.
fantastic. Uh, Bharatan is asking, what is the value of IPM Indore in the outside world? Uh, the value is definitely good. If it wouldn't have been valued, I don't think thousands of students Bharatan would be applying for IPMAT Indore and claiming that particular program and the institute as their dream college. It definitely holds a lot of value. The average package itself tells you, till 2022, the package was 22 lakhs, 2022 point something, 25 point something. In 23, they have moved up to 30. So when you get when the outcome of your hard work is good, you definitely know that the institute is definitely doing something good there. So the question is that it definitely holds value. I want to, goodness saying that if I want to quit after first 3 years, get some work experience, and then move towards an international MBA, say in USA, what would be the work prospects and the value of an IIM Indore degree? Uh, who would like to take up the question? Dina Parth,
I can, that's okay.
go ahead.
So the latter part of the question is more like a career counseling aspect, so I wouldn't take that, like what would be a good route.
I'll
But
take that up. I think the first part you did it.
sure. So after 3 years, you either drop out, you continue, or you take a sabbatical, which was newly introduced during my batch, which is the 2019 batch. You can, I think, take a sabbatical from 1 year to a year and a half, from what I remember. 2 years now? Okay, great. So 2 years, and during which you need to be verified that you have an offer with the company or you have a startup of your own that you're working on, and you work on that, and then you rejoin with the MBA batch. So that's one thing. If you take a drop, sorry, if you exit after the third year, you get a BA Foundations in Management degree, and that being associated with the IIM Indore tag, I think that's highly valuable when applying abroad.
Now, doing the MBA abroad is definitely a choice what a student makes. However, if you are moving out of an IIM Indore, it will definitely hold value. Okay, so your question that whether what will be the work prospect, everything will definitely hold value. Even a 3 year after 3 years, if you move out of IIM Indore, it will still be good, better than anything else. I hope that answers the question. Now, let's talk about a lot of information people are asking about the internships. Okay. Uh, in the second year, as you mentioned, Zina, there is social internship, and we have parts in the second year. Parth, can you give us a little bit more details on the social internship? Have you already started with it? What exactly it is, and how has been your experience?
So the process is still ongoing. Our resumes are still like have just frozen recently, and we should be having our interviews from the next month. Social and from a point of view of what we do, social internships usually you'll get research roles. They could be research roles at great places like IIM Ahmedabad as well. They could be CSR. You could work as an intern in the CSR wing of a multinational corporation. So we have various MNCs which offer CSR roles, or you could work with an NGO, or it could be any work that has social implications. So the vision of the institute is to give rise to socially conscious managers, which is why there's a social internship, so, which ensures that your work has some social implications and it benefits the world in a positive manner.
Great. So that's for the second year. Okay. What happens, Zina, after the third year? Is there an internship you do, in the third year or the fourth or the fifth? Or it's only for the second year there is an internship for social internship?
So when you join your MBA, you immediately, even before joining, you start the process of your summer internship selections. Now, this internship happens between the gap of your first year MBA and the second year MBA, and these are corporate internships. So companies ranging from JP Morgan to Salesforce to anything, and we get diversity of roles: consulting, finance, IB, and marketing, and everything that you could put your hands on, even HR, right? So that's what happens between first and second year of MBA. It's roughly of about minimum 8 weeks, and I think maximum of 12.
Okay, great. And when it comes to, this is about the internship part. And if I understand correctly, as Park said, you would have to apply for it for the internships. That's how exactly the process is.
So there's a placement committee which brings companies, they do the onboarding. You don't have to personally reach out to companies. Once the placement committee brings all the companies, they'll inform you that these are the companies for to which you can apply. And after that, there's a normal selection procedure between you and your peers, and the company decides who they want to choose based on their resume interviews or any other assignments they may give.
Okay, that's great. Now, coming to, when we are talking about the internships, when we are discussing about, the internship aspect. Okay, I'm just looking at the questions which is relatable with the next one, so I can pick that up. Okay, is there a student exchange program? Zina, this question would be for you. Is there a student exchange program which is offered by IIM Indore?
Right, there are two actually. So in IPM, you can go for a student exchange, and if you haven't been an IPM student exchange participant, then you can definitely opt for one in PGP as well. But there, the criteria being that you need to have certain minimum grade point averages, and yeah, you do get the opportunity twice.
Great. Now, when we are talking about, all these things, is there, a good grade point average in your exams, what you look at? Now, when we are talking about internships, we are talking about, the other things. If, moving back to the question which has been asked by one of the students here, is there any such thing as a good, CGPA is what they look at for the first 3 years as well? And what would be a very good CGPA?
I think that's the good and bad is subjective. But so our grade point, the highest it goes is 4.33, and it's some different calculation. And I think if you get anything above 3.2, that's you're doing well. And either way, also, I think you're doing well. It kind of depends. I think it's sort of a subjective question.
All right. I wanted to speak about more on the placement side, but looks like we have again questions are increasing. So let's just take one question at a time and let's try to finish as much as possible because unfortunately the time which is left is really like we don't really have much time. So we'll take quick questions here. Okay. Uh, how to cope with the 12 board exam? Please, students, I told you we are not going to argue. We are not going to kind of answer these questions. I understand if you guys are feeling demotivated because you guys are preparing for something. It's like a climb, it's a steep climb. But the point here is that do not give up. Okay. Parth and Zina, when they started with their introduction and when they started with their journey question, they very clearly mentioned you need to keep on practicing. There is time. It's 5 months for the IPMAT Indore. It doesn't mean that if the tests are consistently going or if the scores are low, it doesn't mean that you don't have it. It's just that possibly the approach is incorrect. Speak to a mentor, have a my plan session. So, Rashi, if your daughter is going through something like this, or you all are going through something like this, it clearly means that the approach is a problem, which means that you really need somebody to give you a neutral approach. And that's when my plan will come into picture. Make sure you book a my plan with a mentor. Speak to a mentor. Check with him what exactly you are doing wrong. Till you get the result, what you want, keep on trying. And that's the key. Okay. So no questions on the interview experience, no question on how to crack IPMAT Indore. I will not be answering them. Okay. Okay. Is it true that students are more fun rather than studying at the campus? Hmm. Parth, this question is for you. Are you guys are having more fun than studying? Is that what is happening in the campus?
It depends on person to person. There are some people who care more about doing the work, and some people have more fun. But I think most of the people strike a balance between fun and play and fun and work, and that's how you have to do it. You can't always be having fun. You can't always be working. That's not sustainable for 5 years. So you just figure out your balance and work your way through it.
Avanish, how is exam pattern? She's asking how is the exam pattern, internal and external details, please. Uh, the exam pattern has already been discussed and been told, which is trimester. Okay. Shinjini Sen is asking what is the necessary percentage you need to get in grade 12 to get into IIM Indore. There is no eligibility as of now for your 12th grades. However, the more the better. So if you have good scores, it will be good not only for IIM Indore, but for any other university you would be applying for. So don't take this as an excuse कि eligibility नहीं है तो 12th में कम scores चलेगा नहीं चलेगा. Try to get as better you can get in terms of 12th boards. Okay. Uh, kindly share how compatible is the course curriculum of IPM for a student coming from a science PCM background? Zina, would you like to take up this particular question in terms of PCM background? Do you have a lot of students who are from that background?
We do actually, and it does help you in getting along with the mathematics subjects and core technology subjects as well, because you already have a good foundation from your 11th and 12th. So it's always a good leverage to have, and we do have a lot of PCM students.
Fantastic. And if you look at the average teacher ratio, what exactly, or on an average, what would be the average teacher ratio which you would get? Any clue on that?
1:60.
One is to 60.
Yeah, on average it must be.
Okay. When it comes to break, now a lot of students are very keen on understanding the break part. Okay, so बहुत पढ़ाई है, you guys are kind of studying from morning till the evening, but they really want to know, do you get breaks? So how often do you get breaks to go back home? Part this question would be for you. How often do you get breaks?
So you get one proper break after each term. From this year, they've made it 15 days. In my first day, I just had 7, 8 days. So I'm happy now. So after each term, you get 15 days ka break. And then after midterms, you might be able to go home if you plan your leaves right. But you can't rely on that. So three breaks, 15 days each. Yeah, three breaks a year, 15 days each.
Okay. When it comes to, the IIM Indore as a campus, okay, do you have places to hang out like a gym? So we are here talking about the infrastructure. Okay, so do you have gym, possibly a football playground or, so on and so forth, parks?
Yeah, so we have two gyms, one open gym, so three gyms in total. We have a we have a cricket ground, football ground, we have basketball court, badminton courts, and even inside our hostel we have a badminton court. So this we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, which is the highlight of our sports facilities. And yeah, so all the sports facilities are there. Any sport that you need to play, you can play.
Fantastic. A lot of questions on campus, huh, about the infrastructure, what they are asking. Now, something which is very important, which is being asked, is can you tell me about the mess food? Students generally don't like. Part this was a question which was asked earlier as well in the campus meet. Yes. Can you just elaborate a little bit on the mess food part?
So I think the mess food is better than what you get at most other institutes. That's what I've heard from people at other institutes. Uh, and obviously, you'll get used to the food. You might think it's boring after a year, but from an hygiene and safety point of view, it's better than what you get at other places. And there are various alternatives. So maybe if someday you don't like the food, there are various places like Amul, Nescafe, and all where you can eat as well.
Great. And when it comes to the hostel is concerned, is it comfortable? I mean, a lot of questions are asked about the hostel condition, the food. Zina, uh, is it the 5 years has been a happy stay, comfortable stay with Iron and all?
Definitely. First 3 years it's sharing with your roommates, and the next 2 years you have individual rooms. So though it's a drastic change, I think it's required for the masters, and it's great during the first 3 years. You're living with your peers, you make good friends because you're staying in the same space, and they're very comfortable. And we've got very hygienic and good place as well. So I think that's a big plus.
Great. So with the campus life, there is something which everybody is kind of getting. This question is something which two, three people have asked. Okay, so when we say that there will be classes on Sunday as well, the classes are late in the evening. Do you really get the opportunity to move out of the campus?
So I'd
Do
say
you?
at least in IPM. Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, it's okay. Parth, go ahead. That's okay. Please go ahead. Do you get the opportunity, Parth, to move out of the campus?
Yeah, so at least in IPM, you don't have classes on Sundays and you won't have classes in the night. So you
Okay,
know your classes are getting over at 5:15 and no classes on Sunday. In the first year, you might have restrictions on going out, at least for 2 terms, I think. That's what we had restrictions. After that, you can freely move in and around outside campus as long as you're back by, I think, 11 p.m.
Okay, so there is a deadline of coming back to the hostel is around 11 p.m. Okay, okay. Now, with so much information, I think we have covered in terms of the campus life, we have covered everything we can, starting from the campus, attendance, dress code, if how often do you are able to move out, and what is the deadline of coming back. A very crucial, even when it comes to internship is concerned, we have covered that. But I think Zina, a very crucial part is what you would be able to give us information on is about the placement. Okay, what is the process? How is it something which Indore prepares you for? Can you give us a little bit, insight on that?
Definitely. So your first year of MBA, it would start, let's say, July, but your placement processes and the mail and the preparation starts way before in June. So you start getting emails from the placement committee and the preparation committee regarding writing up your interview preparation, or they'll send you domain and industry presentations to read up and understand what kind of thing you're getting into. And once you join the college, you have your resume iterations, resume preparation, you get all the proofs, you collect everything, you put it over a platform that we have in our college, and it all gets verified. It's a long, tedious process of verification because they need to be thorough and make sure everything's correct. And then the companies start coming in. You have these placement talks conducted by companies. They can either be online or be offline in any of the auditoriums or classrooms, as however the schedule might be, and you attend those. It's great. You're always seen in blazers around on the campus because one or the other presentation back to back, and then the processes start. Now it's different from company to company. One is that you apply for different companies, then you get a shortlist based on whatever internal criteria they might have, and then there's a resume shortlisting. Now this is a generic process. It might differ obviously. So your resume needs to be perfect. Work on any internships, get your PORs, positions of responsibilities in place, and do some social work, volunteering. Basically, have a good, solid resume. And you also need to have a good, decent GPA, definitely, because you need to show that balance, right? And so, resume shortlisting, then you might have an aptitude test or a subjective test, and then interviews and group discussions or group interviews. And then you get your final call, that if you made it through or not. So it's one roller coaster of a ride, but it's good at the end of the day to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the end of your journey. I think starting with IPMAT Indore to that placement offer letter in hand, I think that particular journey would be very overwhelming, isn't it?
It becomes a full circle, definitely. It does feel worth it.
I'm sure, and all the best to you, Zina. Hopefully, you get the best package. And with this, we would be coming to an end for this particular session. Thank you so much, Zina. Thank you so much, Parth, for taking out time, speaking to our students, and giving them a perspective of, what they are really, running for. What exactly is stored for them with the hard work they are putting in. Okay. So thank you so much. And I hope students it was helpful